Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, October 13th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. Number one, the price you see over here will still be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes of time. So stock number one here, PEGY. It's already been in a great uptrend, but today it just reminded everybody that, hey, it's still around. You can see huge surge early part of the day, got the big gap up. Volume has since dropped downwards, but from a volume analysis standpoint and consolidation, I mean, that's exactly the type of movement that you would want to see. So as far as headed into Thursday, key level that I think a lot of people will be watching going to be that trend line right there, which puts the breakout point right up around $7.10. And that's one of those areas where you got to think a lot of people are watching it. And I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So there are no guarantees in the market. But my point is it valid? Is it rational to think that if the price comes up to that 710-ish mark and can get the push up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is absolutely a valid thought process to have. In terms of levels of support, you can see several times the price has gotten down there around $6.20 and held nicely. So keep an eye on that. And then just for those of you that like to play overall patterns, make this the same color. We have resistance, we have support, we have the nice move right there. We'll put our golf hole down here, have ourselves a nice bull pennant pattern. But overall, the uptrend continues. Next one, AGFY. Very, very impressive movement today. Started off as a penny stock and is now up over $1. So let's get some levels mapped out here. The first level that stands out to me is this trend line here, which has done a very, very impressive job of forecasting areas of resistance now. You can see by using these points right here, did a great job of forecasting where that battleground point was. So moving forward, keep an eye on that trend line right there from a resistance standpoint. The good news about this trend line is it does have an upward slope on it, which suggests that, as time goes by, that resistance is just going to get higher and higher, which gives it more and more breathing room. So that's always encouraging to see. So keep an eye on that level there. And if the price can get a breakthrough there, that would just imply that the price has picked up that much more momentum. In terms of areas of support, so for those of you that like to play pullbacks, the level that stands out to me is right down there at the 80-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. And even if the price were to drop down on that level, not saying this will occur, but just for overall example's sake, if the price were to come down there and start to turn around, I mean, what would you have from a big picture point of view? You'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. You'd have lows there. You get the idea, lows down here. And if you envision those as stair steps, very clearly would still have stair steps progressing the upwards direction. But all in all, very nice volume here, very nice movement. And let's see if this is the start of something maybe even bigger. Next one, CCL. This will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video previously, but I talked about how this one started to turn around, had the nice trend line, but it still had work to do, and that first bit of work that needed to be done was breaking up through that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. But you can see earlier today, got the break of it. So for those of you that watched yesterday's video, took action and got the breakout right there, you have been paid very, very nicely now, as not only did the price break that level, you got quite a bit of continuation. So good movement there. And just out of curiosity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and just keep this trend line in play, extend it out, and we'll keep an eye on it here moving forward. The other level you can use as a trend line that's going to basically draw itself for you is going to be that purple line there, that 50-period moving average. So, choose whichever one you want to use, or you can use both of them. But point here being is that, okay, yeah, it's now been a very, very nice move with continuation. And, is it going to continue to be a nice move? Is this bounce going to potentially turn into a reversal? Well, if it's got any chance at all of becoming a reversal, it's got to stay above that trend line right there. In terms of levels of resistance and next potential battlegrounds moving forward, next key battleground here that you got to think a whole lot of people are watching, right up there at $7.62. So it's certainly get within striking distance there, and we'll see if the price can approach it. And if it does, what happens at that point? That'll be a very interesting talking point. But overall, very, very impressive movement today. Next one, AMC. In a case of deja vu, feels like every day now is just me saying the same thing, lower lows and lower highs. So the downtrend continues, but it does remain a very popular stock. So that's why I continue to follow it. But the first update here is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So going into the day, this level right there at the 605-ish mark was support, but with the price now below it, that would be the main area of resistance. So to give some credit where credit's due, there has been a nice little bounce right here, a nice little upwards channel. But the first part of this, question is, okay, can it get up to that 605 mark? And if it can, does it break through it? And even if it does, I'd still be a little skeptical because not that far away is then looming up overhead. That purple line, which you now know is a 50-period moving average, which could also very realistically serve as another area of resistance. So again, I'm not saying those levels can't be broken, but my point here is, yeah, that's great that there's been a bounce late day, but there's still a whole lot more work that needs to be done. As far as levels of support, as I said in yesterday's video, same principle. It's just a question of, okay, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And the bleeding finally stopped at 560. And for that reason alone is going to be where the main area of support is now moving forward. But again, got a nice bounce. Is there any sort of genuine power behind it? Let's see how the price behaves around these next levels of resistance. Next one here, FOXO, and going back to the comments I made previously about self-fulfilling prophecies and dynamics that a lot of people are watching. And this pattern here that I draw, I assure you a lot of people have drawn the pattern. So I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great discovery or a great skill. A lot of people have drawn these lines right here. Let me change that to green to represent more so the bullish part of the pattern, the support, and then make this all the same color, make it easier to see. We have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move right here, and put our golf hole down there once again, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So as I said, with self-fulfilling prophecies, is it guaranteed that if the price gets up to that level and breaks up through it, that break will for sure guaranteed generate more buying pressure? Of course not. But is it a plausible thought to have? Absolutely. So keep an eye on that. So if you like to play stocks down below $2, you like to play bull pennants, here you go. Real quickly, I want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen, you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free live event. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you see, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Next stock, HPCO, and going back to the topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, in my mind, a lot of people have drawn that level right there at $3.55 as a key breakout area as the price has struggled several times. We're up around that area, which goes to state that, no guarantees, as I've said, but it's more than rational to think if the price can get back up to $3.55 and then get a break up through that level, that break could very well create additional buying pressure. So keep a close eye on $3.55. For those of you that like to play pullbacks, the main area that stands out to me, and you think a lot of other people, so once again, you could have potentially self-fulfilling prophecy from the other angle where it bounces right up there around the 285 mark. But all in all, anyway, look at it. In my opinion, at least 355 is that most interesting dynamic, but you have some very nice other well-defined levels. Next one here, APDN did this one a while ago, a couple days ago, and drew out the pattern. You can see, got the break of that pattern right there today, finally. Very nice breakout through that level. So we'll go ahead and delete these lines out as they serve their purpose for now. But in all actuality, it's kind of a case of deja vu because right here you had, and I'm drawing this very crudely, you had a bull pennant pattern. And once again, we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. But for the second one, I am going to draw it a little bit more precise. So once again, along the topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, you got to think a lot of people have mapped out that trend line up there to make out the pattern. You got to think that a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. So let me change that to green as it's the support part of the pattern. And then, given I already kind of drew it, I'm just going to do it one more time for my peace of mind, knowing that you got to visualize it in a much cleaner way. So resistance, support, surge up right there, golf hole down there, ourselves another bull pennant pattern. And this one does have a good track record now of breaking out of those bull pennants. So guaranteed, no, rational to think if it can push up through that level, that break creates good movement. Absolutely. Next one, MMAT, and not really setups have taken place on this one, but the whole idea of a watch list is to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but, well, to watch it and to see how the price behaves and see if it ultimately does form, some sort of pattern or some sort of, it behaves in a way that fits your personal risk tolerance, fits your personal strategy. So like I said, as of right now, is there like some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy in your face pattern? No, there's really not, because the price essentially went straight up and is now right now final 30 minutes starting to pull back here a little bit. But the key, the interesting dynamic that makes it worth watching is, well, the fact that it just exploded and all this is occurring on very, very well above average volume. So yes, right now, maybe not necessarily a pattern, but if the volume keeps strong, then it stands to reason that, okay, well, then you could potentially get some sort of pattern. So for example, if the price does want to start to chop around sideways a little bit, well, now you could be looking at, some sort of bull flag pattern. You don't quite know, bull pennant pattern. But like I said, the key to any trading is you need volume, you need volatility, and both of those showed up today. So yes, no pattern at this instant, but does that mean another pattern could show up? Absolutely. So keep an eye on it if you like this price range. Next one, TSLA Tesla, which is my good friend. I'm always trying, I can't say I'm always trading it, but I'm always watching it and trade it quite a bit. The first dynamic here, for those of you that have watched past videos, as I've said, I want to continue to keep this trend line in play. Not totally relevant right now, but maybe it starts to become relevant, and this line has served its purpose for now. But I think in my opinion, the most interesting dynamic right now in Tesla is you got to give credit where credit's due. A nice bounce has occurred. After that opening 30 minutes where the price really plunged, from that point forward, the price was indeed put in higher bases. And because of those higher bases, it's now given the ability to draw that uptrending trend line, which brings about, again, think about what we just talked about. What's the idea? What's the philosophy of a watch list? Well, to find interesting situations, to find those situations that make you go, okay, what's going on here? And in this situation, the interesting dynamic is, okay, it has started to bounce, but is this the start of a much bigger bounce? Is this the start of, who knows, maybe some sort of reversal? It might not be. So you know that there's going to be shorts watching this and saying, if it comes down there and breaks through there, I want to get short. That makes perfect sense. But there's also going to be saying, well, no, it is uptrending. And if this uptrend continues and can break that trend line, then this could be the start of something much bigger. Again, I totally see where those people are coming from too. But that's why risk management matters, because somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong. Both people are logical, but somebody's got to be right, somebody's got to be wrong, which again, that's why risk management is so important. But the underlying dynamic here, the core theme here is that these are going to be the two main levels that a lot of people are watching. Keep an eye on that level of resistance, keep an eye on that level of support, and let's see how the price behaves. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that allows you to make money if you think that the NASDAQ market in specific, the QQQ, is going to rise. It just allows you to participate at a much lower price, which is why it gets so much volume every day, because you got to think a lot of people are interested in it. And this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video. But in yesterday's video, I talked about how maybe, just maybe, some sort of falling wedge was beginning to form. But now it's not really a maybe. A falling wedge has officially formed, and a falling wedge is the bullish pattern. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to go straight up, but, is it rational to think that maybe some sort of upwards move could be around the corner? Absolutely. But as of right now, nothing has changed. So for those of you that watched yesterday's video, I realize the price is not broken above the resistance. The price is not broken down below that support. But that's also kind of the point of showing that, yeah, now we officially are really starting to get ourselves a nice falling wedge pattern. And the more and more apparent it becomes, the more and more of a self-fulfilling, prophecy angle, comes about it. So if you like to play falling wedge patterns, then, definitely keep an eye on this. Key breakout point right now, right around the 1875-ish area to really get a good, solid, firm break of that, falling wedge pattern. And if that can break, then yeah, it's reasonable to assume that there could, I'm not going to say a full-blown reversal, but a quality upwards bounce that can, be traded. Absolutely. So keep an eye on it. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be very soon. Thursday, October 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a basic comment down below. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one, and get signed up for that training.